Shoot your arrows! Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. Robert Woods, touchdown! LA! Goff goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. Picked off. Marcus Peters coming off the edge, and Ryan will be wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Everett in stride! Wow!
Franklin Myers gets his hand down there.
Leto got a hand on it. Did he pick it? He did!
Racing down the sideline is a key to lead. Gurley for MVP! Touchdown LA!
Picked off by John Johnson.
Well, Dante Fowler, who is able to get to breathe. Greg Zuerlein sends the Rams to the Super Bowl! LA will play for the Lombardi!
Hey guys, we're back with another Downtown Rams podcast. It's episode 184. This is Jake Ellenbogen. Joining me is Alexis Kraft, and we're going to have two podcasts on today. The NFL draft is fast approaching, so we're going to get all the interviews possible out for you guys. That way you get to know every single one of these prospects we bring on. Today, we bring on two safeties. The Rams have met with 7 safeties so far, whether it be private visit, whether it be at a pro day, combine, whatever. They've been up to 7 safeties so far. So today, we bring on Alabama State safety Kurron Ramsey and Towson safety Monty Fenner, 2 small school studs that you have to know coming into the draft. So enjoy the show, and if you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. All right, guys, joining the podcast, we have Alabama State safety Kurron Ramsey. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
How you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for allowing me on the show. Appreciate it.
Of course. We're excited to talk to you. And just to start it off, I'm just curious, how old were you when you started playing football, and how did you get into the sport?
I was 5 years old when I first started playing football. I had 2 older brothers older than me, so watching them play throughout high school, little league, and college, I was just motivated to follow these footsteps and continue to play football. It really just runs through the family, so started off at a young age at 5 and just kept playing since then.
Yeah, of course. And, growing up, I'm sure you watched, a lot of NFL. Was there a favorite player that you had growing up?
Yeah, my favorite player growing up, my idol was Sean Taylor. He died. His birthday is today. Rest in peace. So growing up, I looked up to Sean Taylor a lot, just playing the safety position. But I didn't really play defense too much since I got to high school. So, in my earlier days, Pop Warner days, I looked up to Reggie Bush, Deshaun Jackson, all them because I played offense in Little League primarily. So, but now, since I went to high school, I looked up to Sean Taylor just because I played more on the defensive side of the ball.
Of course, and Sean Taylor certainly was, an absolute beast and definitely a good guy to style your game after and look up to for sure. And then I just want to touch a little bit. Obviously, you played your college career at Alabama State. What was your main factor in deciding to play at Alabama State?
I had family ties in Montgomery, Alabama, where Alabama State is. Their coach at the time, Reggie Barlow, was really one of the only coaches that really took a chance on me during the recruiting process. So when he had brought me down on an official visit, I had loved the environment. I had family ties there. Growing up, I used to go down there a lot just to watch the games because I had a lot of family there. So I used to go down there for Thanksgiving. They had a Turkey Day Classic game, so we used to go to the games on Turkey Day. And once they had offered me the scholarship, I had just went ahead and committed. That was the best spot for me at the time, so I'm glad I went with that decision.
Yeah, and your time at Alabama State, obviously I would say you'd have a pretty good college career. How would you describe your college career in a nutshell?
I feel like I had a pretty good, decent college career. I really bloomed. I started playing as a redshirt freshman, so I started off young playing. It was around 19. I really bloomed around my junior and my senior year was really when I really took off. But yeah, I feel like I had a successful career at Alabama State. I wish I would have had a championship under my belt, but at the end of the day, I gained a lot of brothers there. I learned a lot from the different coaches I had. I wouldn't replace that experience for nothing else at Alabama State.
That's awesome. And a guy that you played with at Alabama State was fellow draft prospect Titus Howard. What was it like playing with him?
Yeah, Titus Howard, that's my dog right there. That's my homeboy. It was me and him signed together. Actually, we both in the same recruiting class. So him coming in, he started off as a quarterback, tight end. He wasn't as big as he is now, but out of nowhere, he just got as big as he did. He's a good player. I love going against him every day, competing. I still talk to him today. Actually, every day I talk to him. So, yeah, he's a good player. I love going against him on the opposite side of the ball. So yeah, he's gonna have a bright career in the NFL real soon.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And kind of going back to, of course, your college career. Is there a favorite moment, or maybe a play, or even just a memory in general, or even a game that stands out to you?
I guess the most games I could say that stand out to me is the Magic City Classic. But I guess my most memorable game was playing against Tuskegee for the first time, because growing up, I used to always, that's the biggest rivalry at my school. So Alabama State versus Tuskegee. So growing up, I used to always go to those games, and the house used to be packed. So when I first went there, my first 2 years, we didn't play against Tuskegee. So when I actually finally got to play against Tuskegee, it was a good experience for me, because just growing up and watching that game, I was actually a part of that moment. It just felt good. It was unreal, to be honest.
That's awesome. And, we touched on someone that you played with who's very talented, but you also went up against a lot of talented players during your college career. Who would you say, if you could pick one, was the toughest player that you went up against in college?
The toughest player I went up against in college, I would have to say, that's a good question. Who was the toughest player? I would say Willie Quinn, about 2 years ago from Southern University. That was probably the toughest player I played against, Willie Quinn. He was a short little guy, played slot, kick return, running back. He did everything. And in that game particularly, he had a punt return for a touchdown, a post for a touchdown. He threw for a touchdown pass and ran for a touchdown. So he had about 4 touchdowns on us. He was probably the most toughest player I had played against in my career.
Yeah, they're actually a popular answer, those shifty, those speedy slot guys. It's funny, everyone, says somebody like that. I know one of the, I forget who it was that we had on our podcast, and they said Greg Dortch from, Wake Forest or whatever. So it just seems like those guys definitely are the toughest, because, in the college game, they're like, Speedy Gonzalez over there.
Right.
But,
playmakers.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, you yourself, you're a playmaker. Obviously you play the safety position, and you definitely show up on film. But with that being said, I felt like, obviously your pro day, I want to get your thoughts on that, because that's, your opportunity. How was that whole process?
Yeah, my pro day actually went well. I did 2 pro days because I didn't run so good at my school. I didn't run how I wanted to run. So I did my pro day at Alabama State. Titus was there. So Titus had came back from the combine. So once, he didn't have to improve on his numbers anymore. So once the scouts realized he wasn't doing, his pro day, they kind of rushed us through everything. So I wasn't really ready for, to run my 40 and stuff, because how fast the process was. So I was really unsatisfied with my time. So I had did another pro day last week, actually, at Bowie State University, and improved on all my numbers. I had my 40-yard dash was a 4.49. My vertical was a 34.5. My best broad jump was a 10.3. I did 10 on the bench. And I think my 3-cone was a 7.20. So I improved on all my numbers at the second pro day, I guess because I was more comfortable and I knew what I was going into that time. So I feel like my pro day was a success. I'm glad I had the opportunity to do that. I did individual drills with the Bengals secondary coach. So that's also good. So I'm just glad of how the turnout was.
Yeah, that's awesome. It certainly sounds like, you got some great numbers and did some great stuff for sure. And that kind of leads into my next question. In your opinion, what do you bring to the table that no other safety in this draft brings?
I feel like I could play multiple positions. Now that I'm 6'3", I weigh 214. I weighed in at 214 in my pro day. I could play middle, high safety. I could play in the box if they need me to be because of my size. I feel like I'm just more versatile. I could play the slot. I really could line up at corner as DB. Some teams also brought that up to me about playing corner just because of my size and my length. So I feel like I'm real versatile. The fact that I could play safety inside the box, I could check the slot, tight ends, I could play outside at corner. It doesn't matter. I could play special teams. It really doesn't matter. Just any spot I could help the team succeed at, I would do it to my best.
Yeah, I love that answer. Pretty much just put me on the field and I'll show you exactly what I can do. And,
right.
I always love that answer. But, obviously versatility is one of your strengths. What would you say is your biggest strength aside from versatility?
I would feel like my tackling. I had 74 tackles this past season. I was top 5 in my conference in tackle at safety, so that's a pretty good stat. And I feel like my tackling is my best thing, and just my range in the middle of the field, just getting from numbers to numbers, sideline to sideline.
Do you have something that you're looking to improve on as the draft nears?
Yeah, I want to just improve on like my man coverage because I'm used to guarding slots and tight ends. So when I start going outside to play like the X or the Z receiver as a corner, I just got to work on my man coverage because I didn't play too much of that in college. We was a cover 3 defense, so I just want to work on my man coverage leading up to the draft.
Yeah, of course. And then at the next level, we like asking like fun NFL questions. If you could go up against anybody as a receiver, or just any, matchup, who would you most want to cover in the NFL?
Stephon Diggs, just because he's from the same area as me, and I like Stephon Diggs as a receiver. I used to watch him during high school while I was at Good Counsel in Maryland. I went to a couple of Maryland games and watched him at Maryland, so I really would like to go up against Stephon Diggs.
And if there's a quarterback that you most want to pick off in the NFL, if you had to pick one, who would that be?
I would like to pick off over 32, but if I had to pick one, it would be Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Yeah, that's a popular answer.
That's not really a popular answer.
Yeah, but
I think everyone said
Tom
him.
Brady. It'll be Tom Brady.
Yeah, no matter who we talk to on the defense, it's who do you want to sack? Tom Brady. Who do you want to pick off? Tom Brady. Who do you want to hit in the face? Tom Brady.
Yeah, just because how good of a player he is. Like that's a moment right there. If I were to pick him up, I would definitely take that ball home with me and frame it.
Yeah, it is a status thing for sure. Obviously we're a Rams podcast, and so I have to ask you: have you met the Los Angeles Rams yet?
Have I watched them?
Have you met with them?
Oh, no, I haven't met with the LA Rams yet. I haven't met with them yet. I haven't at all.
Well, Jake and I certainly hope that, at some point you do meet with the Rams just because we're Rams fans and we're fans of you. But, wherever you end up, we're going to end up fans and be cheering you on because, all the... Of course, yeah. All the guys who come on the show, we have a great appreciation for, and we certainly are a fan of you and appreciate you coming on the show. But to wrap it up, kind of in your own words, who is Kurron Ramsey as a player, and who is he as a person?
As a person, I'm a hard worker. I'm a leader. I'm gonna give it all I got every time on the field. I'm laid back. I just do what I got to do on and off the field. Stay out the way, stay out of trouble. On the field, I'm going to just give it all I got. I want to win at the end of the day and do whatever it takes to help the team succeed because at the end of the day, it's not all about me. It's about the team. So whatever I can do to help the team, I'm willing to do as long as I'm helping the team win. So that's all that matters to me is winning and just being a team player and a leader on the defense.
Yeah, talking about, an answer that we love earlier, that's another answer that we love, Kurron, really appreciate you, giving us your time. We'll be rooting for you. Stay healthy and let's stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for allowing me on the show.
All right, guys, joining the show, we have Towson safety Monty Fenner. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
It's going good. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, we're excited to talk to you. And just to start this thing off, I'm curious, how old were you when you started playing football, and how did that process come to be?
I was 7 years old. It was this guy named Coach Glenn, and he was riding around the neighborhood with his van one day, and he asked guys, he asked kids in the neighborhood that he wanted us to play football, and I always seen on TV like the equipment, like playing neighborhood football, they didn't have equipment, but seeing it on TV, it makes me actually want to get into it. So when the opportunity was presented to me, that's how it all started.
Well, that's awesome. And, I'm sure, growing up, you probably watched some NFL football. Who would you say was your favorite NFL player growing up?
My favorite NFL player growing up? Sean Taylor, and offensively, it was Michael Vick.
Two great players for sure. We've gotten that answer before. They definitely were guys that were great to watch and a lot of fun to, see what they did on the field. And you obviously ended up playing your college career at Towson. What was your main factor in deciding to play college football there?
The recruiting process, it wasn't too far away from home. It was far enough so I could be away from my family, but it wasn't too far that I get homesick or anything. It was only a 4-hour drive, from. And, like Coach Ambrose, both of Ambrose recruited me hard, and I built a relationship with Jammer. And then that's how I just went from there. And I had a lot of teammates from the area that was also on Towson, too.
Well, that's awesome. I'll be honest with you. I found out what Towson was, I think, probably 3 years ago, because I'm a Kansas Jayhawks fan for basketball and football. And I remember when Frank Mason actually originally committed to Towson basketball, and he went over to Kansas, and that's kind of how you guys were on my radar. And then, I'm watching your film, and I'm like, okay, so I think people definitely need to get to know your name. So I'm glad you came on our show. Hopefully, you can get some exposure, because I think you definitely, one, you deserve it. I think, two, you're going to be a player in this draft to watch out for. But, with that being said, how would you describe your college career?
My college career on the field, it was great. Every year my numbers improved. Never been injured. Since I started my freshman year, played all my games consistently. It was a bumpy road as far as like the win-loss ratio, because like we was coming off the national championship year. So it was like my first couple years, like we was rebuilding, and last year was actually my first time actually going to the playoffs. But I had a great experience here.
That's awesome. And do you have a favorite moment, play, or game? I know it's probably hard to pick just one, but overall from your college career, do you have a favorite moment that you'll remember forever?
Favorite moment that I remember forever? Being named all conference, in the CAA is definitely something I won't forget. This is a tough conference, so just being named as one of the best players in the conference is something that I won't forget.
Yeah, I'm sure that's awesome, and kind of moving forward with that. You probably played against all different competition. Who would you say was the toughest player you went up against in college?
Toughest player that I went up against in college. FBS wise, I would say Greg Dortch from Wake Forest was pretty good against us, pretty tough. And in our conference, I definitely say we have a lot of great players in our conference. I don't know. That's a pretty matter of fact. Oh, the receiver from Richmond, I think his name's receiver has they had a receiver. I think he was number 18 one year. It was in 2017. He was pretty. Kyler Wilkins, that's his name. Kyler Wilkins. I think.
Nice. And you obviously had your pro day. How was that, and what was that experience like?
My pro day was definitely great. It was better than what I expected.
and my numbers prove that I was like, I would have been top 5 and top 10 in certain categories if I would have attended the NFL Combine. It was scouts there, and all you need is one to like you.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's really what it comes down to. And what I've found, just interviewing different prospects over the years, it's not always, the team that shows the most interest in you. It's not always the team that drafts you. I think it's funny because I've had, guys on before where they're like, yeah, I didn't even talk with this team and that's the team I ended up on. It's kind of crazy. But, with that being said, is there anyone, in the NFL currently or maybe in the past that you've kind of modeled your game after?
I like to model my game after Sean Taylor and Cam Chancellor. I'm very physical. I like to come down and hit, so them guys was like, they had that extra game tagged on them. When guys think of Cam Chancellor or Sean Taylor, it's like, they wasn't just safety, they was hitters. And that's how I model my game after.
That's awesome. Sean Taylor certainly is a popular answer we get because he was, so iconic. And as you mentioned, such a hard hitter that, a lot of guys love to model their game after him. And, what, in your opinion, what do you bring to the table in this draft that no other safety brings?
The will to hit. All my plays on the my film shows that I can dissect the play, come downhill, and willing to hit a running back because everybody can tackle, but not everybody has the will to hit. So it's a major difference between tackling and hitting somebody. And my ball skills, the range, I have a lot of plays that I'm making plays on, either side of the field. And I feel like some plays, I'd be like, man, I really made that play right there. Like, it's just all in the IQ and studying the game, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. And, basically echoing off that, what would you say is your biggest strength as a player?
Biggest strength as a player. I'm very vocal. I can say that I'm vocal, and I know how to give sense of direction. That Towson defense, the safeties ran the defense, so we was the first part of communication. So giving sense of direction is a strength, and everybody has to be on one page. So I have to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Like, if I make a big play or if I get beat on the play, I got to have short-term memory because I know I got to get the defense lined up on the very next play. So I feel like that's a strength to my game.
Of course, and that certainly is a great strength to have for sure. Is there anything that, as the draft approaches that you're looking to improve on?
Always looking to improve on, my speed. I have good field speed, but nowadays everything is based off your 40. But after my pro day, I actually had a pretty good time. I think I was subbing like 4.6s, but like a low 4.6, but they had me on 4.58 unofficial. And then I showed I'm very explosive with a 37-inch vertical jump and a 10-inch broad, and with a 18 rep bench. So I just say just keep practicing on getting faster and more explosive on the field. Because guys in the NFL actually are pretty fast. Like, receivers are getting faster and faster. Even D-line and linebackers.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. One thing is you bring up the 40 time, and I always say this because I think the 40 time is, one, overrated, and I think, two, Monty, I mean, that's not how you run in a game. Like, you're not running out of a sprinter stance. You're not just running like in a straight line really ever. So I think it's as good as you kind of. I mean, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously, it gives you an idea of speed, but like you said, you have play speed, and I think that's really the key there. But with that being said, which receiver at the next level would you want to cover if it was anybody in the NFL? Who would you want to cover?
I definitely want to cover Julio. Definitely want to cover Julio Jones. He's tall, he's a big specimen. He's fast. You know, so being able to, and he's a GOAT, so being able to go against him, you know, will be, whether it's a good or a bad rep, it's like, wow, I really just went up against Julio, and that I thought that'd be a great experience.
For sure. He's definitely one of the best, as you mentioned. And is there any quarterback that you most would like to pick off in the NFL?
He's definitely that's the one you want to get. I feel like he's on his last days, and you know, well, they keep winning, so I'm pretty sure, like, I don't think he's as long as they keep paying O-line to guard him, I feel like he's gonna last for a long time.
Yeah, it's funny. It's, you know, we hear it all the time. It's who do you want to sack? Tom Brady. Who do you want to pick off? Tom Brady. So it's always funny. We get a kick out of every time someone says the same exact answer. Yeah, but with that being said, we are a Rams podcast, so I want to ask you, Monty, have you met with the Los Angeles Rams yet?
No, I haven't.
Well, we certainly hope that, you know, at some point maybe you talk with them. But, you know, even if you don't, you know, I know I can speak for both Jake and I on this. We'll be fans of you no matter where you go. And I know that, you know, you're going to have a great career wherever you go. And whether it's in Horns as a Ram or somewhere else, we really appreciate, you know, you coming on the show and taking time out of your schedule to talk to us. But, you know, just to wrap it up, you know, in your own words, who is Monty Fenner as a player and who is he as a person?
Monty Fenner as a player is, I'm hardworking, you know, very determined. I have that will and want for attitude, you know, strive to be great at anything I do. You know, I'm a student of the game. You know, my IQ is there. Like I said, I'm vocal, got ball skills, I'm not relentless. Me as a person, I'm very humble. You know, I don't let anything get to me. You know, I live every day like it's my last. And that's just, I mean, I show a lot of respect for myself and for the Towson community and for the name that I wear every day. And for any team that picks me up, I would have respect for that team also.
Hey, I absolutely love that, man. You know, it's been a lot of fun, you know, getting to talk with you, get to know a little bit about you. You know, really appreciate you taking the time and, you know, wish you the best of luck, stay healthy, and let's keep in touch.
No problem. Thank you.